Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the TWIGI iRacing series. We are live from Chicagoland Speedway for race 25 of 36 in the TWIGI iRacing series season, the Metropolis 200 here at Chicagoland, just south of the Metro Chicago area in a town called Joliet. This 1.5-mile intermediate oval has stood since the late 1990s. Its first race came in 2001. Very unique track, constantly curved, constant radius. You're constantly turning through this track. Opening up the scoring cards here. Dylan Simmons currently sits atop the scoring board. A new competitor for the TWIGI iRacing series and for the likes of Merrick Watchorn to contest with tonight. Jacob Elkins, Lou Frazier, Martin Roberg. We've seen them in the top 5 in practice. The question is if they can be in the top 5 come race time. Further in the order, Merrick Watchorn, Alec Daffin. They are 5th and 6th on the practice times with about 3 minutes left here in practice. I'm Carmen, Sienna. Thank you all for joining us here on an amazing Friday night for racing at an amazing intermediate oval, following up from what we saw at Kansas a week ago. Patrick Hernandez got his first win of the season back at Kansas 7 days ago. It'd be amazing if he could do it again, but he's got some work to do. Right now he's 14th fastest on the scorecards in practice. 19 cars set to take part in tonight's event. Make it very interesting here tonight. We're looking at Dylan Simmons, currently top of the board in that number 07 machine. His teammate, Patrick Schamberger, in the 14. He is new to this race tonight. So we are looking forward to seeing what those two drivers have to bring to the series. Obviously, both cars in the top 10. Positive start. With time ticking away here in practice. Qualifying will be right up next, and then we'll pivot right into this 200-mile, 134-lap event. Updating some information here real quick. Things situated and sorted. Practice time elapsing here at Chicagoland. Again, Dylan Simmons top of the board. We'll see if he can do that again in qualifying here very shortly. While practice ends here at Chicagoland, we'll take a second to sort of interject and talk about our schedule coming up. Next 5 broadcasts up on your screen now. Tomorrow night will be in Charlotte for the Roval, the Concord 100 for the Midwest Barbecue Saturday Night Showdown. And as you look throughout the rest of the week, you have the Darkside Mustangs A-Square Cup Series at Indianapolis for that road course. HTL will be at the New Smyrna Speedway in Florida for the start of their season, the charity race, supporting the Junior Diabetes Research Fund. On Monday, we'll go to Spa, to Belgium, on Tuesday for the International Sports Car Championship, and next Friday we'll be back here for the TWIGI iRacing Series. This time up in New England. We're going to New Hampshire for a race up there. That is the next 5 broadcasts coming up here on ABN, but practice has ended. Qualifying has begun. 19 cars set to take part in tonight's event.
Now, my question for those next 5 races is, do we have anyone competing in every single event?
No.
There must be someone, right? No? No one?
Nope.
I know there are some dedicated people out there.
Lilac's taking part Fridays, Saturdays. I'm not sure if she's racing Monday, but she's racing Tuesday. But she's not eligible to race on Sundays. Because the RX for Cup Series is by draft only. You have to be picked in by one of the teams involved in the series to get in.
Fortunate. For some.
Gaiman is not in this series, but he will be in the other 4.
Oh yeah, so Gaiman was the last. Of course, if this was a week with Cup on as well, Gaiman would be doing 5 or 6.
He would be, yeah.
Yeah, he likes it here.
There's Champ Car.
He really likes it here, doesn't he?
Somehow, some way.
Maybe we should come to the hospital. Get checked out.
Martin Rubber currently the fastest time in the session, a 31.2.
Watchhorn right behind him, under a 10th off.
And Watchhorn finishing his second lap. We're watching Simmons complete his second. Watchhorn, did he improve his time enough?
Whoa.
No.
Just 1,000th off that number 1 spot.
Sasek currently sitting 3rd fastest. Dylan Simmons just went 4th fastest. That's the fastest he could pull. We'll look at Patrick Hernandez, last week's race winner. New look for his car, running the MSI paint. It was a thrilling race at Kansas. If you've missed it, it's available on our YouTube.
Black, white, and red is a hard combo to screw up. Almost as good as black, white, and pink. Oh.
How's that LMP2 car going along?
Hernandez won't be completing his second lap.
No. Yeah, he'll sit right now provisionally in 8th place. There's Greg Pillar running a DuPont scheme. Not a traditional one either. Not one that we typically would expect when you think of DuPont. You think of the Jeff Gordon schemes of yesteryear. His second lap has crossed the line. We'll give him a spot. He'll go to 14th fastest.
Is there also in a new paint for this week?
Another new one.
That's many new ones over the past few weeks.
Glad I'm not paying that livery bill. I know how expensive this can be. No, thank you.
Yeah.
These 4 cars that have not yet qualified for this race. Robert Amaral, Lily Frazier, who was top of the board.
Everyone bar Holiday has completed their runs. So if they haven't got a time set, either that is by design or they have screwed the pooch on both runs.
Yeah, Holiday has not yet left pit lane for any reason.
So Blowers, Buchanan, Frazier, Amaral, all of them seemingly failed to set clean laps. We also have a new pole sitter tonight. Alec Daffin has jumped 300ths clear of Roberg and Watchhorn.
Flowers joining in late will not have time to set a run.
That is a tight top 3, and then it very much spreads out from Sasek onwards. Sasek a 2.8. Simmons, Greg, low mid 3s. Zero 3.8, and then it just gets further and further away. But those front 3 cars are very, very close. Watchhorn, Daffin, cars we are familiar with, perhaps not Watchhorn in the past few weeks, but Watchhorn and Daffin, cars we are familiar with running at the front. Roberg has definitely been on a climb recently. From when we first saw him a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago now. Showing potential during the race, but now showing potential during the qualifying runs too. On that front row, on the outside line, next to Daffin.
Yeah, absolutely. Roberg, he showed a lot of qualifying pace, but it's a matter of if it's been there in the race. In the last couple weeks, it's not been. Eli Sasek, on the other hand, has typically been better in the race than in qualifying. So we'll see what he can do from that 4th position outside of the points leader, Merrick Watchorn.
You say that, but Eli Sasek, I think on at least 2 races now in the past, again, about 4 weeks, has demonstrated a hatred for usable tires.
Dylan Simmons, he'll start 5th here alongside Brennan Gregg, who is sitting 2nd in the points. Brennan Gregg needs a kill in that points gap that is almost, I think, 600 points at this point. If he wants any chance to reel this championship battle in before the end of the season. Otherwise, the points championship will end early. Lilac Zier and Jacob Elkins, they sit in row 4. Elkins did not have a fun time at Kansas. Does Chicagoland pose any better luck for him? We'll find out. Patrick Schamberger on his debut will be in the top 10 alongside Casey Ellis. David Wright, a low point for him in qualifying. David Wright's had a surge in performance throughout the month of July going into the month of August. But a low start here for Wright and for last week's winner, Patrick Hernandez. They share row 6 together out of this 20 car field. As we look further on down these next 4 rows, you have Gamillion and Pillar. You have Stanley, the last car to set a lap time, and then the 5 cars at the back of the field did not set a time for one reason or another. Blowers, Frazier, Buchanan, Holiday, Emerald, they will all be at the back of the field. It looks like Holiday and Emerald will actually miss the green flag here.
Now, just briefly mentioned, but Schamberger and Simmons, on their debut tonight, both running in the same part-time Toyota-backed Outlaw Racing team. So 2 brand new entries, decently qualified for their first runs. Interesting to see where they can put those cars in the first run and the first run of this race.
Interestingly, Simmons has done races before. As Schamberger, that's the complete newbie here. Simmons did races at the start of the season and then stepped away.
Right, because he is signed up as of 2 days ago, or yesterday rather.
Yeah, he left and then came back. Obviously, the series has seen a resurgence of new entries. Simmons being one of those coming back. Same with Daffin. But Simmons stepped away, I believe, it was after, I think, the 7th or 8th race this season. For reasons that I don't have at the top of my head. But I believe, the last race that he would have done would have been Vegas. So, a little bit of work to do for Simmons as he starts P5 tonight. At the front of the field, it's Daffin and Roberg as the pace car peels off. And away we go. We're racing here at Chicagoland.
Clean getaway into 1. Everyone behaving nicely so far. 3 wide near enough at the back of the field there.
That'd be Frazier getting around teammate Ellis.
That's the first lap under wraps, and everyone has made it through without a scratch. Ellis down 3, Frazier up 3. Some good starts, some bad starts for those cars.
So you're struggling a little bit early on under pressure.
Just talking about Roberg's excellent start to this race in qualifying. Yeah. He is down 3 spots, now in 5th position. That is an unfortunate start to his race. I wonder what happened. Maybe you running too conservatively for starting running these races. Doesn't want to burn up too quickly.
The inside lane here at Chicagoland is where it's very much different from Kansas in the fact that at Kansas you have the ability to run all the lanes because it's progressively banked. Chicagoland's not. So it's very much more kind of in line with Charlotte, where you kind of just want to hold the bottom as much as you can in the early going. So if you're someone like Roberg, who started in the top lane, you don't really have that chance to do anything. So for Roberg, he's falling back here. He's falling back now behind Brennan Gray. That's 4 spots lost for him, tied with Ellis in terms of spots lost so far in the opening laps. But Roberg, you saw how long it took for him to actually be able to get to the inside lane tonight.
Yeah, he's stabilized now. He's not falling back anymore. Just those first few cars that could get an advantage over him have eaten him up completely.
Yeah, last time we were here for any sort of broadcast, it was Champ Car, and even in Champ Car, the inside lane was the lane you wanted to be in. In stock cars, it will not be too much different. They'll transition to the middle lane as tires wear, but largely it's still going to be one of those races where if you can get to the bottom and stay to the bottom, you'll be better off.
We have a hard charger in the field. Frazier now up 6 positions into 11th place. I believe there was some penalties, of course, from some 4 race long penalties. I believe Frazier was part of that. That would explain the lack of qualifying.
Yeah, it would.
No point. But as we know,
trying to force it 3 wide there between Schamberger and David Wright.
As we know from Frazier, they tend to be hot and heavy on track, but not always making the wisest choices. So up 5 spots, you know, trying to get past these cars ahead of them, but more often than not getting involved in silly situations.
Yeah, Frazier trying to be super aggressive here at the start. There's a wall where that works and where that doesn't work, and I think Frazier has approached that wall. Hernandez will not give much room, and neither will Schamberger, who's standing his ground in that 14 machine. You see Schamberger still struggling now that Frazier's taking the air off the back of that car out of turn 2. Driver's trying to make the outside lane work. Now that they're in traffic, David Wright and Hernandez make contact. David Wright falling backwards still.
Do you suppose that Hernandez has put on the Dragon on his car to scare off people trying to hit him?
It didn't work.
Because it hasn't worked. Not even close. 8 laps in and he is around. I could see that happening 2 laps ago, 3 laps ago. They were getting close too often.
Hernandez in trouble. Has to burn his fast repair quickly.
Oh, actually, no. Looking back, that wasn't even... Hernandez didn't make contact with anyone until after he was in the spin. So into 2, Hernandez, here we go.
And this is all on David Wright drifting up the track. 42 of David Wright, 19 of Hernandez. Frazier gets lucky here. Let's just slow it down just a little bit. And Hernandez got loose before David Wright got into him.
Oh, there was no contact. Hernandez got loose all by himself. I mean, there was contact, obviously, but Hernandez
David Wright finished him off, but yeah, Hernandez started
I mean, for sure, but that was completely a single car incident in terms of the origins of the contact of the spin. He spun himself, no one else to blame there.
Yeah, that's the difficulty about running that outside lane. It is the way it unloads, because it doesn't completely unload. The track here at Chicagoland is very much a constant turning radius. But with
if I was Hernandez now with this history that I would have with contacts, I would want to play it safe for the remaining stages of the race until it gets to the last 30, the last fuel run really.
So Martin Roberg, Lily Frazier, and Jack Stanley have the lead of the race now. They did not pit under that first caution. We'll kind of walk through what Chicagoland looks like here. Again, constant radius, that back straightaway, you're constantly turning through it. And that makes the exit of turn 2 especially difficult. Because you come off the banking, it flattens for a second, and then it starts to turn again. And that change in the unload is so difficult. Obviously, Hernandez got loose before he even got to that point, but that just kind of highlights how tight it is on the exit of turn 2 compared to what it is on turn 4. It's very opposite compared to what we see at most intermediate tracks. But these drivers will be constantly turning, and it'll be more physical than what it was last week.
This may not surprise you to hear, but Hernandez has not taken his fast repair.
Probably a smart move.
Probably a smart move. Yeah. Minor contact early on, it's not worth the risk. Using it up and then needing it later.
He will be struggling here a little bit because that car's not going to be 100%. But if something happens and he's collected in it, then he's got it in his back pocket. And starting that far back, chances are more higher than they were already.
I think the chances of Hernandez getting taken out by someone else are high unless he's in the front. He's just a magnet for that kind of contact.
Hernandez counting his lucky stars that he won a race last week. And there's a car in the grass. That's RJ Buchanan.
What happened there?
I'm not sure, but he had some significant issues because he was in and out of the grass several times. And again, we're approaching the green flag here. And he's on the apron still.
Oh dear. Oh, he sounds like he's having issues. Technical issues, perhaps. I think he's back in the car here.
It's what it looks like.
He's definitely done for the day. He just parked into the wall. Well, that's our first retirement of the race, 12 laps in.
For a technical issue and all that.
It would seem that way.
Likewise, Jack Stanley trying to get out of the way. He knows he's on a wrong strategy call here. Having stayed out on that first caution, he's already dropped from 3rd to 9th place with Sasek going by. Roberg and Frazier stayed out as well. You see Alec Daffin, Dylan Simmons, Merrick Watchorn, the first cars on fresh tires, trying to make their way to the front.
Currently a 4-car battle for the lead. Daffin, Frazier, Simmons, and Roberg. 2 cars just pitted. 2 cars on 9-lap-old tires. Oh, sorry, at this point, 14-lap-old tires. The other cars pitted on lap 9 during that last caution.
Simmons split in the
Roberg
middle.
kind of hanging back, but Frazier not, Frazier getting loose out of 4 there.
Don't want to stay on the outside lane too long.
I don't see this working well, pushing this hard with such a tire difference. You're going to burn out so hard, and you'll be left, just with nothing and in the run.
Frazier did not race at Kansas last week, but those that did will know immediately, just by feel alone, that the surface here at Chicagoland is more abrasive than what it was at Kansas. So things that people didn't get away with at Kansas will bite them even more here at Chicagoland. And Frazier 100% learning that, gonna find that out the hard way when those tires eventually do begin to grain and blister and give out, and that's gonna happen pretty quickly here. Further on back, Merrick Watchorn has not made any inroads on this. He's actually getting passed by Sasek.
What happened during his stop? It was shorter than everyone else's.
I wonder.
He has dropped several spots back.
I wonder if he was slower entering his box. Because pit lane time is obviously very critical. But it's not just your time running down pit lane and how quickly you get to the speed limit. It's how you approach your box, and obviously how accurately you hit your box too. That determines a lot of the activities. He had a very quick stop. He was accurately in his box. But how slow did he get before coming into his box compared to the
timer
lights?
I have here is a 28.9, and I believe that goes from cone to cone, in and out. Whereas
Correct.
the other cars are 39 seconds on the same parameters. So I'm not sure how that would equate to him having a slower stop unless he was past. No, he couldn't have been. I don't understand.
So what I think has happened here, there's a lot of drivers that made their commitment early, and that's when the timer ticks, whereas Watchorn made his commitment late. So that's going to skew the whole pit lane time, because it's based on when you commit to pit lane. And then obviously from when you commit to pit lane to when you exit pit lane. So he made a late commitment. His pit stop, he took double service. His pit stop time is 6 seconds. If he took 4 tires, that's not accurate. Granted, he could also have not taken tires. And that could be a struggle right now.
He did not take tires. I'm looking through now. I do not believe he took tires.
So that would explain why he's struggling now, because he's in the same boat as Frazier and Roberg.
Only difference being he'll be out on the track longer because he has a tank full.
But he's also better on saving tires than both of them.
He is. So I feel like it'll equal out there. It'll equal out towards the end of the run should it stay green. The only cars he likely won't get back ahead of will be Daffin, really. Everyone else, he probably has it to rights in tire saving.
Front of the field, it's Daffin, Simmons, Greg, and Sasek. This is the kind of race that they needed so far, the way it started out. As we are about to complete lap 21 of 134 here in the Metropolis 200. Dylan Simmons throwing a lot of pace in that Supra in second place. Daffin trying to return to victory lane for the first time since June 2nd. It's been a while for Alec Daffin since he's been to victory lane. That was back in Bristol before Watchorn's 8-race win stretch. Obviously, and then Fernandez broke that streak last week. Hernandez back. He's recovered a little bit. He's up to 11th. At a Schamberger. Behind his teammate Elkins in that 10th position. A little bit of contact in the wall there. I believe that was Frazier that tagged the wall. Yeah, right now a rare struggle.
That was Roberg in the wall out of one. Yeah. Some damage to the outside of that car there.
You can see a little bit of that fender raising on that right side. Gonna have a good angle here as they go into one. Maybe. If as quick as they're going around here, maybe not. But you can see where it's not even anymore with the flat pit on the hood of the car. It's not level anymore.
In NASCAR, uneven on both sides, you're pulling my leg.
Yeah, it's not like we don't see enough of that on Wednesdays.
They're very twisted.
Roberg dropping back a little bit. Watchhorn sitting in 7th and really not able to do anything. He's just kind of sitting on an island right now. The driver is able to get around him, have. Steer up to 6th place behind Blowers, who's up 11 spots. As Tragic Call so far working out wonders for the 34 machine, who did not take part in qualifying. Joined in super late. Joined in with like 2 minutes left before qualifying ended. Sasek in 4th. Trying to defend that position from Blowers. Brennan Gregg taking on Dylan Simmons. In a battle for 2nd place. Gregg to the bottom. Simmons up top. Simmons trying to use momentum from the top lane to generate that speed. But Brennan Gregg just way more consistent on the bottom there. That outside lane energy is really impressive there, especially out of turn 4. But Brennan Gregg's going to fight it again into 1 and 2, where he's going to have a really good shot at clearing him here. 1 and 2 just doesn't work the same way as 3 and 4 in that top lane. And Simmons will kind of help block off that inside lane just a smidge to prevent Simmons from getting back at him. So Brennan Gregg has set sail a little bit here. He'll try to chase down the 48 of Daffin as this race continues on. 3 cars out of this race. RJ Buchanan, the first retirement officially. Robert Amaral and John Holliday did not take the green flag to tonight's event. Here at Chicagoland, it leaves with 17 cars, all of which on the lead lap. From Daffin to Jack Stanley. Looking from high above as Brennan Gregg puts 0.4 of a second on Dylan Simmons. Battle further on down. Frazier having a latency issue in front of Hernandez and Schamberger. It's not what Hernandez wants to see. After already being collected in one incident so far, he may be collected in another. That was really loose for the 19 out of turn 2.
I feel like when Hernandez is constantly and frequently in these kind of encounters and situations with 4 cars pushing hard every single corner, it's just terrifying because, oh, very loose over the tri-oval. Very, very nearly lost car there. Recovered nicely. That car, those tires, loose again. I don't, and
he is about to go around. He will go around.
There he goes. Caution number 2 cause Patrick Hernandez once more.
Struggling
Surely
there.
he took tires in the first stop. Surely he took tires when he came in for service in the car.
You'd imagine, right? He took 57 seconds worth of service on that first pit stop.
But with handling like that, regardless of the damage done to the car, the performance in the corners should not be that drastic.
It depends on how much he was running the outside lane. That outside lane is going to grain those tires significantly. Like, they are going to suffer if he's on the outside lane for too long. So if he's been running the outside lane, like what I think he was to get back to that position to begin with, he's going to struggle there a lot.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of a month ago with Alec Daffin.
Yeah.
Almost identical situations, just a lot earlier in the race. And only himself to blame. So every car in the pits. Will there be a mix-up of fuel only, tires only? What are they gonna do? If they're smart, they'll all do a full service. And Hernandez has used his fast repair this time. Potentially by accident. Brennan Gregg. Oh, he has damage to his car, so he took some repairs in the pits and has dropped back to 14th.
I wonder if he grabbed the wall in that battle with Simmons.
Broberg still in the pits. Oh, of course, he had damage as well on the right side.
Yeah.
So, sent to the back of the field now, Broberg, with a 1:13 cone-to-cone pit time.
49.9 second time in pit lane, getting that repaired on that right side.
Looking through the field, Ellis has some right side fender damage. And as does Zia.
A lot of drivers getting friendly with that outside wall. However, Zier did not repair any of that, so obviously she thinks that doesn't affect her at all. She'll restart third.
Lights on the pace car are off. Going green this time by.
Green flag in the air for a second restart of the night. And Sasek did not get going at all.
Schamberger gets a poor start.
But outside lane in shambles.
And yet Hernandez is still running it.
There's a car in the wall there. That was Frazier that time. Behind Simmons.
I don't see any damage to her car though.
Getting lucky playing that game. Oh, side by side, Watchhorn and Zier. And you could not fit a piece of paper between the two on the exit of turn 4. Zier still fighting back in the outside lane.
Ooh, Elkin, sorry.
Oh, Watchhorn! That's gonna bounce off of Zier. And he saves it. Zier and Watchhorn collided for the second time, and that one was more substantial.
No yellow flag, so Watchhorn now has a lot of ground to cover and no draft to do it in. Now you can really see the pace of Watchhorn.
Completely, yeah.
He is entirely on his own at the back of the field. Let's see how long it takes. I say, as long as we go green lap 50, he'll be top 10 or top 5 even.
I'm not going to go that far. I think that it's going to take a little bit longer than that for... Obviously, some drivers will be a little bit slower, but everyone's largely on fresh tires, and a lot of them are in the draft, so right now they're going to have faster pace. Watchhorn will just be able to kind of pick drivers off one by one. He won't really be back near the front of the field unless a caution comes out until the second half, I don't think. I think you won't see him back in the top 10 until about lap 68, 69, if this thing goes green. And just because it's going to be a methodical process, because it's going to take him a lap or two to get around some cars.
I suppose you're right.
He won't blitz the field. He was struggling at the beginning. Obviously, he didn't take tires, but he was struggling. And he obviously struggled against Zier because he bounced off of Zier, drifted up, bounced off of her rear quarter panel, and spun. So he was struggling on the inside lane. Most of these drivers here, whoa!
Oh, contact hit, Sasek and Simmons. Sasek again getting loose, recovered, but now passed by 3 cars on the inside, dropping down to 7th place. Unideal circumstances.
Yeah, and events like that, if they get any worse, Watchhorn will be bailed out significantly by that, and that's what he's kind of hoping for.
Sasek's already struggling with loose tires. Moments before the contact with Watchhorn and Zier, Sasek got loose on that same corner. So his tires, again, I said at the start of the race, and we've seen the past few weeks, he doesn't like having tires at work. I don't know why. I don't personally agree with that philosophy, and it doesn't seem to work for him. So he keeps doing it.
Zier battling with Elkins here for the top 5.
Elkins high into the wall, still in the wall.
Smart decision to kind of just stay up there for the time being. Everyone goes to the bottom, and he'll drop out of the top 10.
Strong contenders tonight, getting drawing the short straw for sure. Everyone from 2nd through to 10th, bar Greg, Zier, and where is this?
Daffin.
No, bar Zier and Greg. A lot of these cars don't often sit as high as they currently are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Flowers took advantage of the situation. He's now in the 2nd position. Frazier in 4th. They got bailed out by that bad strategy call on the first stop. Watchhorn has gotten around Jack Stanley and Maurice Million. He's up to 14th place.
Follow me shocked.
But he still has
Plenty
a lot of work to go.
Of course, there are 2 teammates of his in this this fight back. Million already passed, and Hernandez coming up. They're not gonna. Then I doubt they'll let him fight it out. I think they'll probably let him go by relatively easily, and already done.
Hernandez, I think, mostly just trying to make sure he doesn't lose ground to Roberg here, who's right behind Watchorn in this battle for the 13th spot, essentially.
Greg and Zia side by side in these corners, getting awfully close, but Zia clears him on the outside.
Keep an eye. Look how the damage on Burning Greg's rear car looks. He got a massive shunt to the back of his car at some point, probably during a caution, during a checkup.
That's that potentially, because I don't recall him in any incidents.
He hasn't been in any incidents, and it's all rearward. It's not side panel or anything. He didn't touch the wall. He's literally just been slammed. And that's why he spent so much time in pit lane trying to get some of that fixed. Because that car is caved in the back. At the back, it's not going to have a significant change in how the car handles. Obviously, the spoiler, the duckbill spoiler at the back of the car, it's still intact and it's still in same shape. And that's the important part. But it could definitely be a concern if a further incident occurs that could possibly go further than the back of the car. If that bumper's already compromised, it will not take much to throw that out of shape. Right now, it's sitting behind Zier in 6th place. Frazier in 4th, just ahead. Then it's Simmons, Blowers, and Daffin. Simmons trying to close in on the Melon Rave Racing driver. As Daffin once again pulls about 1.6 seconds on the field so far. Daffin trying to do his best Merrick Watchorn impression. It's been a while since we've seen him do that.
Nearly getting in touch with each other there.
Very close. Place. And you see Watchorn staying devoutedly to the bottom line here. He is staying as close to that white line as he possibly can. I mentioned that earlier. That's the place you want to be when you're saving tires and trying to move through the field. The inside lane's the only place you can do both.
Where you don't want to be is on the high line consistently and trying to take the apron during that tri-oval while turning the car. I've seen at least 3 cars now getting loose trying to use the apron on the tri-oval to their advantage. There isn't enough grip on that asphalt to not lose the car.
There's grip on the asphalt. It's funny because the apron's actually smoother than the actual track itself. The issue is the transition. That's almost 16 degrees of banking transition.
They're getting loose before they're getting on the banking. Yeah. They're getting loose on the tri-oval, completely flat. Very, very minor, left-hand steering angle. And those cars are getting just loose enough to where it's butt clenching. And then we see Watchorn doing it.
Making it look easy.
Surgically.
But again, he's staying on the bottom lane. He's not deviating from that line a whole bunch.
I think the primary difference between how Watchorn does it in other cars is he is sticking to one direction of travel from the moment he goes off the banking onto the apron and then rejoins the track off the apron. He isn't moving the car, so to speak, during that period. He is just pointing the car in the direction he wants to go and taking that course.
Merrick just got into the top 10. 14 laps is how long it took him to get to the top 10.
So I'm 5 off there on his position count for lap 50.
Yeah, you were 5 off. I was 17 off. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer, but surprised by how easy drivers are, especially his teammates, because Hernandez fought and clawed with Watchorn last week, all race long. But Hernandez did not give Watchorn any troubles tonight.
I can only imagine the psyche of the number 19 car. Week after week, it's incident after incident. And then if you have an incident early in the race, how easy is it for you to go, oh, well, it's another shit race?
It's very interesting because obviously the steering mentality is this one mentality of like, oh, it's a never-ending storm, right? And there's the other, it's like, okay, well, We're in this whole, in that mentality sort of is what determines the race winners and who doesn't. Because Watchorn immediately is like, okay, we're in bad shape, let's race it back. Whereas if you're in that mentality that you don't have the confidence to shake it off,
it will affect you for the entire race.
Yeah, you never will.
You just won't. You'll never be able to put down the performance that you need because you can't get in the right headspace.
I don't like bringing this up too often much, but Chicagoland, the race that I won for Champ Car, early on I was involved in 2 incidents.
Unsurprising.
There were no fast repairs in that event. There's obviously a fast repair in this race. There were no fast repairs, and there was 22, 23 cars in that race. Lost my front wing, had damage to the right front. It's very easy at that point to just say, "Oh, the car is wounded. We're damaged goods here." It's all about the confidence. You talk about the psyche, you talk about the mentality. It is 100% mental in terms of how you process that and how you get through it. What kind of obstacle do you perceive it as being? Watchorn, no big deal. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
Other people won't see it like that. You look at the likes. Obviously, I'll single out drivers since I can. But drivers like Selena Thompson, where it's very much a flash in the pan, but if something goes wrong, it snowballs. There's a lot of drivers like that across ABN and all of its partners, where if something goes wrong, it snowballs. Josh Gamen's another one. If you have that mentality, it's very hard to shake it because that's a bad habit, and bad habits are just obviously difficult to break. But then it also affects how you drive, because now you're compensating for something you really don't need to compensate for. So you're burning your tires more. Hernandez has been on the top lane ever since, so he's burning his tires more, and he's also got the mentality of it's damaged.
Hernandez is still on the top lane.
Yeah, and he's losing spots. He's losing a spot to Roberg right now. Roberg, who has kind of just been patient and kind of just waiting, biding his time, using an inside lane, getting the advantage on Hernandez. Now that Hernandez's tires are beginning to really fall apart on that right side. You're compensating. You're in that mentality that if it's going to go wrong, it will, which puts you in the position where if something does go wrong, you're going to be in it. It very much is 100% mental at this point. As much as you can kind of point, we're like, oh, this car doesn't have the new damage model, so it's slightest damage, and it'll take the car away. You have a fast repair. Like, there's an easy, like, pull the plug and you're out of that situation sort of environment. Plus, Hernandez has really been lucky, because he split out of turn 2 in front of the field twice. It gets very easy at that point to be T-boned and killed, and his race to be completely out of it. He's on the lead lap in 13th. And obviously Roberg struggling a lot here because he just dropped back significantly, but Hernandez is no longer making ground. This is a track that we were expecting him to be strong at, because statistically he's the top 5 driver on these tracks. But because he had that early incident, it's all gone, because it's like the end of the world now. And that's when you need to rely on your teammates. You need to rely, obviously, on your teammate who's getting passed by here.
Watchorn's struggling to get past Frazier.
He's going to start struggling here. He spent so much tire wear trying to get through the field.
He's throwing the car on the inside whenever he gets a passing opportunity. He hit the front left on the apron. The car got loose a little bit, and he lost all his momentum during his pass. And now Frazier is 2.5, 3 car lengths ahead again.
But Frazier's another car that's running the outside lane, and it's not smart. Not for longevity, I should say. It's for defending this position for a little bit, sure. You're kind of just waiting for someone to just tire themselves out. The thing is that this is the championship leader. He's got 15 race wins. Good luck. I always kind of coined this term. I've coined this term sort of off camera, like during commercials and all this stuff. But I kind of relate this to boxing. right, between Fraser and Watchorn, who Watchorn just gotten by. And the term is, eating like a heavyweight doesn't make you a heavyweight. Defending like a front runner doesn't make you a front runner. And Fraser was defending like a front runner, but she doesn't have that pace. So Watchorn will make quick work of it on the second time of asking, and immediately locks his targets on Eli Sasek there, who is a little bit more like a front runner in this situation. Sasek not running the outside lane, he's running decidedly middle or low. So we'll see how quickly Watchorn can get around him here, as Sasek really runs his exact line there, right above that first seam line. As David Wright got loose. Still loose, still trouble. Caution will come out.
On the outside. Very nearly sideswiped Watchorn there.
Very nearly T-bone Watchorn. Like, there was two different ways that could have gone, and both of them were bad. But David Wright, again, veteran experience.
Out of the wall. Didn't damage the car. Just his ego.
David Wright, veteran experience there. Kept that car safe and sound as much as he could. He'll be at the back of the field. But that car lives to fight another day, and he doesn't need to use a fast spur to do it.
This is just what Watchorn needed.
Yes.
Now the field can go in for service, he can get tyres, and then spend the next run catching up to, probably up to Simmons. If he can split this race into 3 sectors, or 3 sections, from the point in which he went off the track to now, to the remaining 2, probably remaining 2 fuel runs, I'd say. He can, there is definitely a possibility for him to take victory here tonight. Coming of pit now, he have the tyres and the skill ultimately to rise up to the podium places, and then it is up to him to act accordingly and intelligently to take the fight to Daffin and to try and secure that win despite the early issue he had. Without a caution, sent him all the way to the back of the field.
Yeah. Watchorn actually got ahead of Sasek during that pit stop. So that's one less struggle. That's one less struggle he has to deal with right now on this third restart of the night. Sasek will be to his outside, and on the initial start, not where you want to be on the outside. The only time the outside really works is if you're further in traffic, because then you can create a third lane and just kind of blitz the outside as much as you want to. When you're in row 3, you don't have that ability. You can't generate that momentum. Daffin stays in the race lead. Brendan Gregg sits in second. Zier third. Simmons fourth. Watchorn back to the top 5. Sasek in 6th. Fraser 7th. David Wright 8th. A good recovery from David Wright after that spin. Was down in 16th place, but has recovered to be in 7th after that pit stop. So, or really 8th after that pit stop. So good job from him. Elkins 9th and Blowers in the top 10 had a slower pit stop. Coming to the third restart of the night, just shy of the halfway point in this race. More cautions already tonight than what we saw last week at Kansas. Kind of just undertones how different this race has been so far.
A lot of outside wall contacts here.
Yeah. Drivers wanting that progressive banking that just isn't there. Pace car pulls into pit lane. Daffin, Gregg, Zier, Simmons takes us under green. We're back underway. Just 2 laps shy of halfway.
I went through and counted, and 10 cars currently racing a minimum have made outside contact with that wall tonight.
Almost added another one with Simmons.
Yeah,
Getting loose
very
there.
close.
But Watchorn back, he's up into the top 4. Inside lane prevailing here a little bit. Zier now stuck in the outside lane. Watchorn gonna try to make quick work of the 89 machine. Down to the inside lane.
Now, obviously, you and I both favor the GM in racing.
Yeah,
But in NASCAR, when you have a Ford versus a Toyota, which one do you root for?
a Toyota. That's what Arrowhead Racing runs in
Of
HTL.
course, you run. Yeah, for some reason.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Anything but Ford.
Anything but Ford.
And so far, that makes me very happy because it's Toyota and Chevrolet 1, 2, 3, 4.
It is.
Watchorn trying to make his way through on Brennan Gregg.
Admittedly, we only have 2 Fords contesting tonight's race, so
It's great.
it's not a difficult
Callie, let me enjoy this because between Saturday and Monday, I want to see nothing but Fords.
Is that what ARCs is? There are a lot of Fords in ARCs.
Yes. But actually, I think there's more Toyotas in the truck series on Saturday nights. But Sundays and Mondays, the next gen series are all Fords, almost.
It's I mean, yours a Toyota, mine a Chevrolet.
Until Coast to Coast moved to Chevrolet, Ford outnumbered Chevrolet and Toyota combined.
Arrowhead is Toyota, Ascent is Toyota,
Yes.
Coast to Coast Toyota, Lady Liberty is Chevy,
Yeah.
NFG is Chevy,
They were Toyota last season, yeah.
and then my car is Chevy, and then that's
Deep
a lot
Race,
of Tombstone cars. Yeah, so
Tombstone, Unforgiven, Deep, they're all Ford.
Militia,
Militia's a Ford.
Rip Fam.
Ford. Stepping Stone, Ford.
There's a lot of Fords.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're friends in that one, hey.
Right. Tune into that on Monday.
Oh yeah.
Charity race on the 14th. Callie gets to be on track for that one. Good luck.
I am become death. See, what annoys me is lovely administrator for HTL, Blake Henderson, has by some miracle convinced me to enter a race with a pay fee, because it's for charity, I believe.
Yeah, for
on
the
a track
Junior
that
Diabetes
I
Research
don't
Fund.
currently own.
Yep. So you're spending $3 to enjoy a short track race.
Great. I mean, I do love short tracks, but I hope that set is good. I'm thankful it's like heat racing. Otherwise, it'd be a much more of a slug.
Yeah, New Smyrna's more like Martinsville. So if you don't like Martinsville, you're in trouble.
I was unaware of this. I don't like Martinsville.
I've driven laps because I have New Smyrna.
I wonder if I can still back out.
Oh, look, you've already been advertised for the event. Oh, no. Meanwhile, Watchorn has become the race leader.
Oh, I
Wow.
wasn't paying attention. I was too busy talking absolute nonsense.
While Callie was becoming death over there, Watchorn became the race leader ahead of Daffin.
Oh, it is Martinsville. I'm going to die. Oh, no. This
Oh, bless
sucks.
your heart.
Why didn't you stop him? You were involved in these conversations.
I was not. I had no idea he was convincing you to do anything. I don't convince people to do the charity race. It's all
I
for
would
money.
have preferred Owendale.
Literally, I think Nurse Smyrna's. I think it's just a little bit longer than Martinsville, but it's the profile of Martinsville, just with a little more
It
bacon.
is, yeah.
Because
Right.
modifieds go there, and I love
Oh.
modifieds.
I love modifieds too, but they're terrifying because they're very offset, and if you hit the wall, you're going upside down.
Yes, correct. The next gen race is nothing like that. However,
Hey, you don't know that.
I do. I've literally been making content on New Smyrna for Monday.
I mean, if you never know what can
I've
happen.
got 63 modified starts
Yes.
for
but
the New Smyrna. I know the difference between a modified, a stock car open wheel machine, and the next gen car, which is going to be interesting. Because
God, I hate Martinsville.
A plus on this on the Send It in turn 1 and 3. We've crossed the halfway point. We're at lap 76. Watchhorn being kept honest by Daffin and Simmons. Brendan Gregg and Lilac Zier in the top 5 in this whole conversation going on here. Elkins in 6th, not far behind either. The biggest gap would be down to Sasek, who did not have a good restart and is now not even in this battle consideration for the race lead. I was correct that it would take him beyond the halfway point to get to the race lead. I was correct in that assumption.
There was also a caution to help him with that.
Yes, there was absolutely a caution to help him with that, but even still, it took him a lot of time to get back to the race lead. And now that Watchhorn has the race lead, that clean air is absolutely vital. I wonder why Daffin was so easy to be able to just sort of break away from everybody. Clean air is the answer why. Daffin can place car wherever he wants to. Watchhorn can do the same thing. It's really where the inside and the middle are really indistinguishable. When you're in traffic, the inside lane's typically where you want to be, simply because not a lot of people can hold the inside lane in traffic. Everyone typically just gravitates towards the middle. Watchhorn has full reign of the entire track at his disposal.
If I asked you what lane Hernandez is running, what would you say about now?
Outside.
I have surprising news to share with you.
Is he running the inside?
He has learned his lesson and he is running the first lane. It's only taken 80 laps of this race and 2 meetings of the wall. Look at that. Look at that inside line. Isn't it beautiful?
It's fantastic. I'm glad he learned it on lap 75.
I mean, these rookies, what do you expect, right?
Bringing Greg under threat here from Dylan Simmons. Burning Greg had a giant issue.
At the same time, Dylan Simmons under threat from Lilac Zier.
Yeah, that for third place once again under. Now we're back to the normal sort of situation here, where
these tend to be races for the last step.
Yep. For a series that really does not like F1, they've emulated it very well for stock cars.
They have, yes.
Because you got 2 drivers that are head and shoulders above everybody, and that's a fact. Like, what if you look at all the winners of this season? Like, the only drivers that have won more than once, Watchhorn and Daffin. Opening race of the season, won by Wurtsema. Hernandez won last week, obviously. That's 2 out of 25 races. It is crazy. The only other race winner was Rudy Valentine. That was at Sonoma. So 3 out of 24.
We still have 2 more road courses this season to let Rudy have a go.
Yeah, but he didn't race Mid-Ohio. So I don't know if he'd be racing those.
That's probably because Mid-Ohio is quite mid, and in Ohio.
It was the best road course race the series has had so far this season. You wouldn't know because you weren't there, but...
I know, I believe I was busy. I don't remember what it was. Something much better than what this was.
I believe you were getting home late from work.
You know what, I do believe that was it, yeah.
Let's see, so next week's New Hampshire, then we got Rockingham, Pocono, the Charlotte Roval, and then... No, we've only got 1, Charlotte Roval. That's it.
Oh, interesting. I thought we discussed those 2.
And Rudy doesn't like the Roval, so he's probably not racing that one.
Oh, I know. I mean, Rudy set the fastest lap time during testing we did a few weeks ago when I needed graphics. That was in the GT car.
I was going to say, that was a completely different car.
These are quite different.
to kind of put things in kind of perspective, this series is moving to the Gen 6 car next year.
Yes.
People's opinions on this car, not great.
No.
Can certify that with ABN's own polling, which has said that the Xfinity car is just a little more bearable than the next-gen car as far as driver's input, which means, obviously, we should do the next-gen all the time, every time. With the whole whopping 1 vote in our poll.
It's a good thing we have partners.
Yes.
And it's a good thing both of those series are easily accessible. Right, Carmen?
They're not. You need money.
Thank you for acknowledging my joke.
You're welcome. Anyway, Burning
I was
Gray.
aware you were German.
Anyway. Actually, Daffin got to the white line there. I was looking at the timing. I was like, okay, let's see what battle's closest here. Right now, this battle's heating up because Daffin's actually found a way to get hooked to the white line despite being in dirty air here. Because Watchorn's staying in lane up. Watchorn really giving Daffin the space on the inside. I would be hooking that inside lane every single time. Watchorn's more floating in the middle here. And it's giving Daffin the ability to kind of get air in the front of that car. Oh, Daffin got loose there, though. Out of turn 2. Battle for 8th place, also kicking up. Daffin, Frazier, Schamberger. Battle for 8th place. Frazier struggling just a little bit now. Had a chance to fight at David Wright, but now under threat from Schamberger more than anything else. And Frazier in the outside lane. We've talked about it all race long. Not great for tires. Simmons in the top 5. Under threat from Jacob Elkins. He gets the white line there. Differences in the lines in the corners. It's marginal, but important. Simmons drifts up a little bit here. Largely in this battle for 3rd position between Gregg, Zier, Simmons, and Elkins. Sasek clawing his way back in to this conversation as he pulls himself away from David Wright. At lap 92 of 134. Watchorn leading the way ahead of Daffin, and this battle will continue on as Daffin gets closer and closer and closer to his season-long adversary.
Whenever it is he decides to show up.
He's gotten right to his bumper. And here he is going to look at the inside.
Right alongside. I think which one will have the momentum to get it on the exit, though. Yeah. This is going to continue back into turn 1. Watchong just clearing him, but not quite. Daffin all the way on the inside line there. Catching him to the side by side out of 2. Watchong clearing the inside of Daffin. Right on his bumper there. It's not over yet. Back into 1. Daffin inside line, Watchorn outside line. 1 lane between the 2 of them. And Daffin just getting just loose on the apex of that corner there. And Watchorn still maintaining his lead in this race. Both cars getting quite loose in these corners. At this point, I'd be surprised if Daffin has any tires left to take a fight to watch on. I think that was probably his opportunity to do so during this run, and he failed.
He's got another opportunity, though. We'll see if he can claw that back in. Schember continues to go after Frazier. Pair of rookies battling for the 9th spot. Whoa, car is in the grass. It's Martin Roberg.
Unfortunate. Not a great race for Roberg today. Started so well. Started P2 on the outside of the front row.
Yeah.
And has, for lack of better word, pissed it down the drain. On more than one occasion.
Yeah, Watchorn and Daffin. Watchorn tagged the wall.
Daffin goes by. But for how long?
Watchorn pancaked that wall entering turn 1, trying to get a wide entry in 1, and it didn't pan out quite that way. But Watchorn responding out of 2, trying to get back out of Daffin, who's got the outside lane and has the momentum to keep him from clearing. And they'll stay side by side. Daffin takes the lead across the line. Coming to 35 laps to go. Daffin, Watchorn, Greg, top 3. Zier 4th, Simmons in 5th. Then it's Elkins, Sasick, Frazier, and Schember as David Wright comes down pit lane. Pit stop coming up. We have reached the fuel window under green. So one final test. Daffin leads the way. Watchorn falling off significantly here. 7/10 now, the gap between Daffin and Watchorn. Looking for the behind. Greg, Zier, Simmons, they've all closed in their gaps. Again, we know that drivers will have to make a pit stop here before this race ends. Question is, who blinks first? Will it be Simmons? Will it be Watchorn? Will Daffin cover it off? And how many drivers have exactly practiced pit entry under green? Schamberger further back for 8th place, battling with Frazier still. Schamberger to the inside lane, that 14 car. Frazier in the 13.
We have Simmons coming in next time by.
So you have to assume that Schamberger might follow him in, teammates there. And that looks like it'll be the case. As Frazier tags the wall, Simmons and Schamberger come in.
Frazier 2 ahead of Schamberger.
That is way too hot for Frazier. Way too hot for Frazier. There's going to be a speeding penalty for Frazier, I think.
Hanover.
Yep.
Yeah, we have a penalty there for Frazier. That's a hard pill to swallow for sure.
It's seeing because Frazier went from the outside lane to the pit lane and was slowing up way later.
Don't forget the wall.
Yeah, don't forget the wall, but from the outside lane, from the wall, trying to make pit entry, trying to cover off Patrick Schamberger, and fumbled the bag there on that one. That's sort of the situation where you kind of just go around for an extra lap and just kind of take what you have at that point.
Yeah.
And obviously Frazier not aware of that. Watchorn has fallen off significantly as he gets loose out of turn 4. He is struggling now immensely in the number 91. Now under threat from Brennan Gregg.
At this point, struggling this much with the tires, I would just come in. You know,
Yeah.
it's the last stop of the race. You have nothing really.
Grab an undercut here.
Yeah. A possible strategy.
Undercuts have worked all season long, and that may be what happens here.
He's coming in now.
And so is Brennan Gregg. Both of them make it in safely. Sasta goes by for second place.
Greg was a lot more conservative there on the entry than Watchorn. Greg was 5 under. Watchorn just got it on the line.
How quickly does Daffin cover off the undercut? No indication yet.
Looks like he's staying up.
He's trying to back it down. Yeah, he's trying to back it down here. Getting it down to 50 miles an hour, and he gets it.
Yeah, he got it. No second runnings of that.
Sasek also in. It gives Jack Stanley the provisional race lead, but we've seen this before from Stanley. There's Schamberger going by, getting his lap back. Bayer spent a total of 57 seconds on pit lane with that time penalty for speeding on pit lane. It scales up a little bit. The faster you are in violation of the speed at the pit line, the more time you have to spend stationary on pit lane. Usually it starts off as a minimum of 26 seconds.
I believe also if you come in without service, it's less time too.
Yes. Stanley comes in this lap. Officially led a lap in this race, but will hand it off to Dylan Simmons, who, remember, was one of the first drivers that came in and now has the race lead. Driver that was fastest in practice.
Simmons is also one of the only drivers today that has stayed out of the right side wall.
Yes. Simmons.
So this is definitely a favorable position for Simmons to be in.
Absolutely. And obviously you look at where Zier is at, you look at where Daffin's at, he's got a really solid chance here to really have a chance to really hold on to this. Daffin has to get through Zier, who will not make it easy.
Only 25 laps to go in this race. Can he keep that lead? Because not only do the cars have to catch him, they have to pass him. And with how much tire they have to use to catch him, it may make passing a lot harder than they'd like it to.
We may have another white flag finish
without an issue.
Yeah, Zier, once again, passive. They're not really fighting for any positions here. Kind of showing why she's only a top 5 driver and not a top 3. Watchorn likewise having to take on Brennan Gregg, who passed him on that pit lane cycle. Watchorn had a longer stop, 2 seconds longer. But work to do for Watchorn with 24 laps to go. David Wright likewise right behind Jacob Elkins I said Jacob Wright. It's David Wright. I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Oh, no. But David Wright sitting in 7th place, trying to fight with Jacob Elkins there. Eli Sasek in 8th place. Patrick Schamberger has obviously firmly got clear of Frazier, who spent on pit lane, but has extended his gap to Martin Roberg as well to kind of solidify a top 10 finish on his debut. Battle for 4th is still the closest between Greg and Watchorn, and Greg needs every single point he can get ahead of Watchorn here. Dire straits if he lets Watchorn go by here. I can't think of a race in the last 3 months that Brendan Greg's beat Watchorn in.
I don't think that record will stop today.
It doesn't look like it. Watchorn makes pretty quick work of the 18 of Brendan Gregg.
Nearly at Motegi did we have a race where Watchorn came out on top. Sorry, Greg came out on top. That mega attempt at a fuel save.
Yeah.
That just didn't come to fruition.
That's another race that I think Merrick Watchorn won.
Yeah. I believe that every race that I have been present for has had a Watchorn victory.
Yeah, you've missed the ones that there wasn't.
Yeah. He should pay me more money to not show up.
Why not? You're his good luck charm.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I mean. He should pay me to keep showing up. I'll ask for a raise.
Yeah, looking at Brendan Gregg's last results, he's not had bad results. Like, outside of last week where he finished 6th. 3rd place at Dover, 2nd place at Nashville, 2nd place at Michigan, 3rd place at Milwaukee, 3rd place at Mid-Ohio. He's been a top 3 driver. It's just that person he needs to beat has always been ahead of him.
Let's see how it goes.
So this is his best chance to really take that on. I don't think he's actually ever beat Watchorn one-on-one.
Well, that race-winning hope for Simmons died quickly.
Yeah, it did. Not even close.
Dappin has already run away with it completely. He is gone.
It's already 1.2, the gap between those two. As Simmons actually is going to be really under danger to Zier.
Mm-hmm. And then soon Watchorn and Greg.
Yeah. And he only pit 3 laps sooner than everybody else. That's how big the difference has been. He's actually losing a lot of time hand over fist to Zier, who pit 1 lap after him.
This may just be a matter of pace and driving style, not tire age. It's giving him such bad results here.
I can see he's struggling right now as we watch this battle for the 4th position, which could very well become the last position on the podium. Brendan Gregg has beat Merrick Watchorn on track precisely 1 time. That was Darlington. Back in May. No, that's right, back in late April. Excuse me.
Not too long ago then.
Yeah, only 4 months. Actually, almost 4 months to the day. We're 10 days away from that. So Brendan Gregg fighting for his life right now.
Obviously, if Greg does get back up to Watchorn and begins fighting him in the corners, it gives Zier and Simmons a greater lifeline for their positions.
Yeah.
Which they are going to be desperately clutching onto in these remaining 15 laps of this race next time by.
It's almost like watching a Newton's Cradle because the front's coming back towards the middle here as the back of this top 5 battle closes in as well. Like a pendulum swing. Because there's the battle for the top 2, really. Like 2nd and 3rd's right there. Washington got looser. It looks like he bobbled off the apron coming up on the tri-oval. Because Brendan Gregg had to jump out to the outside lane.
He has to run now on the backstretch.
Yeah,
He's on
he
the
does.
inside. A massive momentum difference here. He's going to take Watchorn clear as day.
I thought Watchorn had bobbled it coming into turn 1.
Watchorn has the momentum out of 4. Not enough though.
Yeah, Brendan Gregg's got draft now. Great equalizer. He's a huge difference maker right now. The question
Already
now
catching
is
up
that
significantly.
yeah, the question now is that now that they're in dirty air, how quickly does this battle change as Simmons tries to defend from Zier? The more time that they waste, the quicker that obviously Gregg and
Simmons did
Watchorn.
very loose in these corners.
Zier's been in the top lane more often.
When these 4 cars will come to be neck and neck, side by side, this could be a catastrophic and glorious event.
Zier on the outside, Simmons the inside lane. Brendan Gregg, if he's gonna make anything happen, he's gonna force a 3 wide, I think. The issue for Gregg is that he doesn't want to put himself in a position where if something doesn't work out, that Watchorn's able to take advantage of it.
Ooh, Simmons loose. Gregg side by side, sort of.
Gregg was just following the draft of whoever he could get a hold of. He'll pick off Simmons. Kind of leave.
Watchorn now stuck behind Simmons. Can he get by him soon?
Watchorn, they're trying to do
Nose to nose out of 2.
He's gonna get there. Simmons on Zier. Zier
Gregg
holding the
on
middle.
there.
Yeah, sorry, Gregg on Zier. Simmons on Watchorn. Gregg gets to the inside of Zier. Gets the preferred lane here, going into turn 1. And Watchorn still frustrated by Dylan Simmons, who drifts up wide, drifts up loose. There's Watchorn's
I
opportunity.
have the run on the backstretch. He's still struggling to get by him.
He lost
But he
that
has
run
the inside
somehow.
line here now. And Simmons is, completely helpless in this. He hasn't the grip or the momentum to fight Watchorn. But now he has the momentum on the tri-oval. Running a little wide there over it.
Zier and Gregg holding each other up significantly in this battle for second place. 5 seconds now the gap between second and first. As Zier tries to hold on to that podium spot. And she will. Good battle there by Zier. Watchorn got right to that white line, and he is loose at 3 and 4. And that puts him in danger of losing it again.
Might have tapped, but still has momentum over Watchorn. Clears him easily over the tri-oval. Has the inside line into 1.
Yeah, it's a matter of who
Gregg
lost
and
the least
Zier
amount of
fighting on
momentum
the
there.
outside line though. Unideal. And
Zier holds on to it.
soon approaching lap traffic of Bowers.
What a fall off his race has had. He was second at one point. Still side by side for second place. Ooh, Zier trying to side draft off of Brendan Gregg. I don't think it's going to work there, but Brendan Gregg takes second finally with 8 to go. And immediately almost loses all the momentum. Got loose as soon as he touched the dirty air with Blowers. It was almost game over. Blowers goes well up top, forcing the leaders down low. Brendan Gregg in second place, Zier in third.
Oh, Blowers into the wall as he lets the leading cars by. Doesn't bring out a caution though, keeps it on track. At this point, I have no desire to see a caution because we are 6 laps to go, and anything can happen with these 4 cars fighting for the second and third spot of this race.
Personally, devil's advocate, caution now would neutralize that entire race lead that Daffin has.
It would. He would be quite upset.
Very upset. Because that would turn his race from a masterpiece to a disaster in a heartbeat. Because he's done such a good job under long run pace to get to that point.
How many overtime attempts do we have here?
3.
3? That's a lot.
I mean, HTL's unlimited.
It's fair to say.
Because we saw 5 at their Daytona race last year.
How many at Gateway?
Only 1. That's because there was like 24 in the race. That race is also available on YouTube for those who want to see comedic gold.
And St. Louis traffic.
And pilot travel centers. Greg and Zier almost look a lot more poised to take these podium places ahead of Simmons and Watchorn. Watchorn has really stalled out here in this 5th position. He is not having the greatest opportunities here. 3 laps to go. Time is ticking away.
Oh, loose out of 4, nearly into the wall for Watchorn. Question: Where was it that Watchorn finished last week?
2nd.
So, if he does not finish on the podium tonight,
this will be the first time since Watkins Glen that he's not been in the podium places. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is a very rare moment.
Savor it all you can.
Sasek trying to get around Elkins. Elkins defending like his life depends on it. With 2 laps to go, this is the closest battle on track. Between this as well as Schamberger and Gamillion. And Gamillion actually sends it in there on Schamberger and makes that pass in an instant. Frazier had to make a stop, so did Blowers. White flag is in the air, 1 lap to go here at Chicagoland. And it's all eyes on Alec Daffin. Has not won since June 2nd. Over 2 months since his last win.
Simmons loose, very loose. Saves it, recovers the car.
Battle for 3rd, heating up. Daffin comes to start-finish line. He will win at Chicagoland. But this battle for 3rd will go all the way to the start-finish line. Zier got loose and bobbled it, but she'll hold on.
Greg takes 2nd, Zier 3rd, Simmons 4th, Watchorn 5th place finish tonight at Chicagoland. That's the top 5 running order of this race.
Hawkins and Sasek stay 6th and 7th. Gamillion and David Wright 8th, 9th. Schamberger dropped 2 spots there in the last 2 laps to 10th place on his debut. Martin Roberg will finish in the 11th spot. Jack Stanley, lead lap finish for him. 12th place. Ahead of Greg Pillar, who was, I believe, a lap down. No, he's out of fuel.
Retirees this race are Hernandez, Ellis, Buchanan, and then Amaral and Holy, who did not make the start.
So Alec Daffin will win this race, his 6th in 2023. And it's a simple Polish victory lap for Daffin. Made famous by the late Alan Kulwicki. Daffin won at Richmond, Martinsville, Darlington, Charlotte, and Bristol. Before this, now 6 wins to his name in the season. A wild race. to end this one off. As Daffin celebrates, we will pull up the full results here. Victory Lane, where Daffin will eventually end up. Full running order here at Chicagoland. Alex Daffin, Burning Greg, Lilac Zier, top 3. Then you have Simmons, Watchorn, Elkins, Sasic, Gamillion, David Wright, and Patrick Schamberger in the top 10, rounding out tonight's race. Roberg ended up with 11th place. Jack Stanley in 12th, Greg Pillar in 13th, Fraser 14th, 15th Blowers. But for Pillar, Fraser, and Blowers, they did not finish on the lap. We saw that Pillar had run out of fuel on the last lap. Ellis did not take the finish. Neither did Patrick Hernandez. RJ Buchanan finished 18th, the last car to take the start, with Amaral and Holiday both not taking the green flag. Crazy, crazy, crazy activity here at Chicagoland. Again, a heads up for those tuning in tonight. Here's what's coming up. Tomorrow night, 9:45, we go live at Charlotte for the ARC's Midwest Barbecue Saturday Night Showdown Series. Sunday, 7 p.m., we are live from Indianapolis for the Brickyard 110 on the road course at Indianapolis. The JDRF charity race at New Smyrna on Monday, August 14th for the HTL Cup Series. That season beginning for the 4th season in HTL. Gonna be a lot of fun, short track racing to kick off the season. Tuesday, August 15th, it's the 45 Minutes of Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps. And then next Friday, we'll be back here for the TWIGI iRacing Series, this time at New Hampshire. So a lot of activity incoming here over the next few days. But on behalf of everyone here, for everyone obviously at the TWIGI iRacing Series, for everyone here at ABN and ABN Studios, my commentator Callie, Heydt, I'm Carmen, Sienna. Until next time, I want everyone to stay safe, stay healthy, try to have some fun this weekend if we don't see you. But otherwise, we will see you very soon. We'll see you tomorrow night at Charlotte for the Roval. Until then, so long, everybody.